Welcome on in to Sports Memo Today. Happy to be with you. And yes, we might be a little tardy, but that just means you're going to get even better actionable info here on a Tuesday edition, a $2 Tuesday edition of Sports Memo Today. You see there in the side scroll, I got Jesse Schule and Moneyline Matt with me, and you also see a promo code. I'll break down how you can use that a little bit later in the show. A terrific deal where you get to pick the start of your 3-day all access for any capper that's featured on Sports Memo Today. This week, I'm your host, Dan Alexander. Happy to be with you here on Sports Memo streaming live, and special today, a little wager talk stream as well. So worlds colliding. We're happy to be with you. Want to let you know, you saw if you watched Wager Talk today, Kevin Dolan was on. He's the $2 Tuesday handicapper over at wagertalk.com. And on Sports Memo, we got your $5 triple play. Ross Benjamin, The Insider's Room, Dan Kaiser. You can get all their plays for just $5. Nice savings. And we got college football plays, NFL plays, all of them 5-star plays over at sportsmemo.com. But let's bring in our esteemed guest since we left you waiting. We won't make you wait any longer. I got Jesse Schule with me. And Jesse, I got to start with the fact that if people aren't following you on Twitter, they're using their Twitter wrong. You can follow him at Jesse Schule, spelled the same way as you see his name on the side there and beneath his picture. But the video you put out when you have a perfect sweep of Mr. Perfect kills me every time, Jesse. So keep that going. How's it going? And what do you have up for clients, brother?
Hey, it's going pretty good. I was wondering if I wore that outfit on this show, if you'd let me get away with that. But you don't have to worry because I didn't sweep on Sunday. I was 2-2 on Sunday. That's my worst day so far this football season. So it's been a pretty good start to football season for me. Really excited about this weekend in college football with conference play and rivalry games. It's shaping up to be a great weekend. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and you've been crushing it all year long. It's the Ice Man. You can ride with him, ice in the veins, and also, I don't know what else goes through those veins because you are ripped up. Just check out the Mr. Perfect video. It cracks me up every time. So, Jesse, let's get into it, my guy. Let's start with a little SEC action. We got Alabama laying the spot against Arkansas. No woo pig suey, according to the odds makers. -17. Bama, the favorite. That's a lot of points. What do you think, Iceman?
Well, Dan, I got two games for you today. One that you're going to want to watch, and that's this one. The other one, you're just going to want to check the box scores. I hope it's going to be a snoozer. But this game I've been looking for ever since last season when Arkansas went into Tuscaloosa and gave them a run for their money. You remember they scored 35 points in that game. Alabama ended up winning it by just a touchdown. Now we got the rematch. Arkansas is going to be at home this time around. They're coming off a loss at Texas A&M. They had a chance to win that game with a 42-yard field goal with 1:30 seconds left. My buddy Joe D'Amico had some not so nice things to say about the kicker after he missed that. They lost 23-21. They actually outgained the Aggies 415 total yards to 343. They had an edge in first downs, 24-16. And Alabama, just remember, it was only 3 weeks ago that they almost lost to Texas. They had to come from behind, aided by a controversial targeting call that probably would have sealed it for Texas if they didn't call the targeting. It was going to be a safety. Alabama ends up winning that game 20-19. That was on the road. They failed to cover in 4 of their last 5 road games. And like you said, it's an awful lot of points. And I think this Arkansas team, they might not be the greatest on defense, but that offense can continue to move the ball and put points on the board. And I think we're in for a close game. And I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama, they could lose this game.
Whew, calling for a potential money line sprinkle at the 17 spot. Arkansas looking decent there. Plus the 17, according to the Iceman. Before we get to this second play that, I don't know if many people are going to be glued to their sets when Penn State and Northwestern face off, but you can grab 3-day all access from Jesse Schule. Head on over to his page, sm.buzz/JS. Purchase a 3-day all access for the price of just 1 day using that code there in the side scroll, SMT3. The cool thing about it is you get to pick when your access starts. So you want the whole weekend of football from Jesse? Just set your start date as Friday. Get that action all the way through Monday. This deal good for any of the handicappers that are featured here on Sports Memo today. That is through Monday evening, or I guess Monday night at midnight is when that's going to be ending. SMT3, good for Jesse Schule and our upcoming guest, Moneyline Matt. So we'll talk to them in just a little bit. So let's swing into this Penn State game. Big favorite last weekend. Penn State couldn't cover that game. Now they're spotting 26 points to Northwestern. Being from Pennsylvania, this is a team I know well. Is this another dog play that you're looking towards? What do you think, Jesse?
Absolutely. You're not going to want to watch this game. Just check the box score later. But the look-ahead line had Penn State favored by 21.5. That was prior to this weekend. And, of course, Northwestern's now lost 3 straight. Their stock is at an all-time low. So this line is inflated all the way to 26 points. The history between these two teams, the last 7 meetings, neither team has won by as many as 26 points. And the thing about Northwestern is, yeah, they've lost 3 straight. All 3 of those games were decided by 1 score. And Northwestern actually dominated the play in all 3 of those games. They dominated total yards. They dominated first downs. So why did they lose? 9 turnovers. They've been losing the turnover battle, and they'll probably lose the turnover battle again this week. But they're playing well enough offensively to move the ball enough to stay close. And when they're getting a 26-point spread, I think that they can do it. Penn State's 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 home games versus teams with a losing record. And Penn State has Michigan on deck the following week. So are they really going to want to let those starters go deep into the fourth quarter and really, turn up the gas when they got Michigan on deck? I don't think so. I think Northwestern can hang within 3 scores in this game.
Yeah, a spot play and a trend play potentially there. One of the trends that I saw is that Penn State was one of the best teams against the spread in September. Well, they didn't cover last week, and this game is going to be played in October. So you can take that stat and run away with that one. So, Jesse, remind people what you have up, because I would highly suggest taking advantage of getting a 3-day access for the price of 1 day using that code SMT. What kind of plays will they get if they ride with you this weekend, Jesse?
As of right now, I got 3 big games in college football posted already. I got 2 NFL games selected already. I'm probably going to add a few more college football for Saturday because I'm so excited about the card. It's going to be a huge weekend. The first weekend we got conference play and rivalry games. So, yeah, look for a full card of college and NFL this weekend.
And if you want to see Jesse in a unitard, just head on over to his Twitter page, Jesse Schule. Jesse, always great talking to you. Appreciate you hopping on halfway across the world, and we'll talk to you again soon. You can head on over to his page, sm.buzz/JS, and use that code SMT. Get 3-day all access for the price of 1. This might be the best looking edition of Sports Memo Today ever, because coming up next, I got my guy Moneyline Matt. You can catch him on Inside the Distance each and every week on Wager Talk TV, where we're streaming live on today, again, alongside our Sports Memo stream. Matt, how are you doing, man? How was the weekend? How's football been treating you? And tell people about Inside the Distance, too.
Yes, sir. Hey, great to be here as always. Hope everyone watching is having an awesome Tuesday. This weekend I did go 2-2 on the NFL, not where I want to be. Still looking for that weekend where I go 4-0, break out a little bit. But one thing I will tell you is every primetime game, Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, and for the Sunday slate, I do provide a free play, and I like to angle it towards player props. I've hit my last free play player props up on Sports Memo, so definitely recommend checking that out. We had the Devonta Smith over, Dalvin Cook over this past weekend against the Detroit Lions. And one thing I like to do, too, is because I have a pro DFS background, is I like to break things up a little more. Like I had the Dalvin Cook 79.5 rushing yards. I had the touchdown prop with both of those hit. And then I had 100 yards plus a touchdown. And of course, Dalvin Cook leaves the game with 96 yards, having a shoulder injury. And then last night we had the Saquon Barkley under carries. All 3 of those hit. So definitely check out those free plays going forward. But right now on Sports Memo, I already have 2 NFL plays up, and I'm going to get some of my UFC plays loaded. We do have the Inside the Distance show every single Thursday where we break down every single UFC card. Great spot to stop and get some information, especially with UFC 280 coming up, not this weekend, but down the road a little bit, and potentially the biggest UFC card all time.
Yeah, this is a guy you definitely want to be following with and riding with come UFC time. That show you do alongside Andy Lang, Kyle Anthony, must watch every week to get you ready for betting the UFC the next coming weekend. And let's get into some football here. You said the 2-2. That means the bounce back going to be real this week, my guy. So let's start with this Ravens and Bills game, because this one has me scratching my head a little bit. We got the Ravens coming off a road win. We got Bills coming off the loss to the Dolphins. 3.5-point road favorites are the Bills here, and early money coming on the Bills, but this line hasn't budged. So I don't know. How are you betting? Because I have some stats and trends I'll throw your way in a little bit here that kind of say maybe a look towards the dog would be worth it.
Yeah, and I got to agree with you. I'm definitely looking for the dog here, and I have some reasoning behind it for sure. You know, the Ravens are coming off that 37-26 win over the New England Patriots on the road, and now they're coming home to face the Buffalo Bills. As for the Buffalo Bills, they're now 2-1, coming off that loss to the Miami Dolphins in Miami. Definitely struggled with some heat in that game as well. Typically, this is definitely a spot where I'd probably side with the Buffalo Bills and the bounce back. And, you know, you're still getting 3.5. You still have that hook with the Baltimore Ravens, kind of showing you where I'm going a little bit. But with the Buffalo Bills last week, they had even more injuries than before going into that game with the Miami Dolphins. They have all top 4 of their cornerbacks out. They're actually looking for cornerbacks via free agency. Safety Micah Hyde just hit the injured reserve. Tre'Davious White already on the injured reserve. Safety Jordan Poyer is hurt. Both defensive tackles and Ed Oliver and Jordan Phillips. And their offensive line is facing some injuries as well, with Ryan Bates leaving with a concussion. There's just a lot going on. Yes, they do have some chance for some of their players to return, but with last week getting so many more additional injuries, I don't even know if it's going to balance out. You know, this is potentially the most injured team throughout the NFL this early in the season. And one of my biggest takeaways from that game was Josh Allen having 63 pass attempts. When the Buffalo Bills lose games, it's because they completely abandoned the run game. And I kind of feel like the same thing might happen here. You know, they have trouble with the offensive line. They have trouble in the cornerbacks, the secondary, especially if that front 4 is injured as well on the defensive side of the ball. That's one of their strongest parts of their defense. So if, in fact, the Baltimore Ravens were to get up early, I think that's a dangerous position for this Buffalo Bills team to be in. And then in addition to that, one of my biggest takeaways so far this season is Lamar Jackson. He's playing at an MVP level. He has 749 yards passing throughout the season, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and has also added 243 yards on the ground. This could be incredibly problematic for this Buffalo Bills team, especially due to the fact that this Buffalo Bills defensive line is injured. Picture this. If the Buffalo Bills have to start blitzing more guys than typical, then they have to rely on 4 cornerbacks who are potentially free agency cornerbacks. And you have one of the hottest quarterbacks in football. You have an offense that is absolutely clicking. And then in addition to that, if you're blitzing, it's generally not a zone blitz scheme. It's a man blitz scheme. So you're running with the wideouts. What happens then? Lamar Jackson can step up in the pocket, take off in some of those run lanes. Again, just a very vulnerable position for this Buffalo Bills team. A lot is on Josh Allen, and I do think he can handle it. He's that good of a player. But if you want to give me 3.5 points with all the injuries, you're traveling on the road, a team that completely abandoned the run game last week as well. You know, looking at 2021, that's exactly how this Buffalo Bills team lost games. They would get away from that run game. Again, I think this is what could happen in Baltimore. So I'm going to side with Lamar Jackson here and give me the plus 3.5 points.
Yeah, and I'm glad you touched upon Lamar Jackson and just the banged up Buffalo Bills, because that's 2 things that I was looking at heading into this game before hearing you kind of confirm it. And I saw this stat out there that since 1989, so this is almost 3 decades of data, Buffalo, the week after they play Miami, so they go to Miami and then they have to travel again the following week, 4-29 against the spread going back to 1989. So they're banged up. This is a spot that historically the team has struggled in. And then you mentioned Lamar Jackson and the MVP level that he's playing at. Lamar Jackson, since he took over in 2018, the Ravens as a home underdog, 5-0 against the spread. They've covered the spread on average by 11.7 points. So that's a terrific spot both ways there. This is one that I have on my card as well. So looking towards that 3.5, it's just wild to me that there's been a lot of Buffalo support in the marketplace, but the line hasn't moved. That makes me a little worried. But, that 3.5 just seems too good, Matt.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of that too is just the Buffalo bounce back. Buffalo had so much hype coming into the season, everything added in with that. I love to play the bounce back as well, and this typically would be a good situation for it. Last week I would have been on Buffalo if it wasn't for all those injuries, and that made me go towards the Dolphins, and it's kind of the same scenario here.
Yeah, so let's get into this second game since we're getting up against it here. We got college football coming your way on Wager Talk TV right after we're done here on Sports Memo Today. Let's talk this Patriots and Packers game, because talk about banged up. I mean, Patriots are limping into this game, and the line reflects it, all the way up to 10.5, 11 in some spots are the Packers. However, while the Packers keep going up, that total keeps on coming down. It's down to 40 in some spots, Matt. That might not even be enough. What do you think?
Now, I completely agree with you. This is a total that I could see going even lower than 40.5. The Green Bay Packers so far this season, they have not reached a single game or combined 40 points. Okay, 3 games this season, not one has reached 40 points. And there's definitely better offensive teams that they face than the New England Patriots, who are going to be without Mac Jones. In addition to that, when looking at this Green Bay Packers team, since the exit of Devontae Adams, the Packers have very much turned to a more run-heavy style approach to slow the game down, protect Aaron Rodgers, and get the football in the hands of their best weapons. Their best weapons now are Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Okay, and the Packers have one of the top defensive units throughout football. They have one of the top secondaries throughout the entire NFL, and that's actually where the New England Patriots struggle. They're starting Devontae Parker, Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne, and now Brian Hoyer is coming in to start due to the injury with Mac Jones. And if you know Bill Belichick, once he has his second-string quarterback in, he tends to go to a very run-heavy attack and rely on his defense. So again, I think this game slows down even more than before. The Green Bay Packers have a secondary skill positions in terms of wideouts that aren't the best right now. Aaron Rodgers is definitely trying to synergize with them, get that connection. So because of that, I think the same thing is going to be with the Packers. I think they're going to go with Aaron Jones. I think they're going to go with A.J. Dillon. And all season long, even before this Mac Jones injury, if you've been watching Sports Memo Today or any of the preseason stuff, the Patriots were one of my favorite teams to be an under team all season long. The Patriots are 2-1 so far this season on the under, and I expect them to go 3-1. And once again, it's just going back to Bill Belichick. Ever since Tom Brady left, they have gone with a much more heavy run style approach. They don't have many weapons on the outside, so not as many big plays, not as many big scoring plays that just score within like a minute, 30 seconds, whatever it may be. So I expect this game to go on the run. I expect the clock to run. Good, solid defense. I think the Green Bay Packers shut the New England Patriots wideouts down on the outside. And because of this, I see another outcome just like somewhat similar to the Bears, like a 27-10 game. And this goes under that 40.5. And I'd honestly even play this to a 39.
And you mentioned the Patriots 2-1 to the under. Well, Packers are one of 6 teams this year to be 3-0 to the under. So 2 worlds colliding right there. That says we could be seeing a low scoring game. Matt, always love picking your brain. Sounds like we might even have some player props potentially for some carries for Aaron Jones or for A.J. Dillon. We'll see what those numbers look like when they come out. But remind people what you have up, how they can take advantage of that SMT3 code, get your 3-day all access. What are you going to have loaded this weekend, man?
Yeah, guys. So I already have 2 NFL plays loaded with some of the games mentioned. Actually, I like some of them that much. I definitely am looking at this Thursday night football game. I'm just seeing if this line moves a little bit. Love that game. I'm going to get that one loaded. And then again, guys, I'm going to have those free player props up on the page this weekend if you want to go and check those out. We'll also have some UFC stuff up. If you're a UFC fan, there's so much stuff to bet. Coming up as well, I will definitely be covering the NBA. So if you're an NBA fan, definitely recommend going and checking out my page, Moneyline Matt, over at SportsMemo, or check me out on Twitter as well. Same thing, Moneyline Matt, giving a ton of free picks and plays, always letting you guys know when the SportsMemo show is going on. And again, appreciate everyone tuning in, and definitely check out that page.
Yeah, and if you're a fan of the uniform matchups, Thursday might be an all-timer. So the Bengals are going to be wearing the all-white unis, some of the hottest in sports right there. So, Matt, always a pleasure, man. Appreciate you. We'll talk to you again soon. And you can head on over to Matt's page, sm.buzz/MLM. Take advantage of that code directly to my side here, SMT3. Get 3-day all access for just $39. Again, you can pick the day that it starts. So you want all access from Jesse, you want all access from Matt all weekend long. You can grab the package now, have your access start on Friday. That code will be good through Monday at midnight here at sportsmemo.com. If you enjoyed the show, happy you did. Hop in the comments below. Let us know if you agree, if you disagree, any trends that you're seeing or angles that you're eyeing in college football and NFL this weekend. We just asked you hit that like button, hit subscribe. Welcome into the Wager Talk viewers who joined us over at Wager Talk TV. Enjoy college football today coming up next, as that does it for us. So for Jesse Schule, for Moneyline Matt, I'm Dan Alexander, and we will be back on Thursday with my crew on Thursdays, Eric Pauly, Mid-Major Matt, right here on Sports Memo Today.